around Bay YouTube, it is Unblurred here with another video, but today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Not comic book or action figure related, but if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I am a musician. I love music. It's something I'm passionate about. I play bass, guitar, drums, piano, recorder, produce my own music for the YouTube channel, record jazz, reggae, so on and so forth. And occasionally I like to talk about music that I'm listening to and that I discover, and something feels off. Give me a second here. Let me, I gotta hold up, get rid of this, set this over here. Let's try this. Here we go. Yeah, it's ill-fitting. I got a big head, that's okay. But yes, we're talking about a country album. I am not a country fan. I do not prescribe to that genre, even though I was born, raised, and live in Wyoming by a country-loving father from Oklahoma. I never got into it, but I really dug this album here, and it is by Kacey Musgraves, and it's called Middle of Nowhere. And the first thing that I really dug about it was the single called Dry Spell, which is just full of double entendres and not so subtle references to Amherst activity, I guess you could say. And the video was funny, and I really liked the vibe of the song musically. It was distinct and just had so many different styles clashing within that one song. So I got curious to see if her other stuff was going to be more like that, and I was not disappointed. So yes, it's available on streaming, but being a musician, I understand the importance of going out and getting physical tickets, going out and getting physical media to support artists that you really think are creating good stuff. So I got the physical CD. That way, if internet goes out or I'm out and about, I can have it loaded on my phone. I can have it, ready to play on a CD anywhere. So yeah. So let's talk about the CD first off. I like the packaging. It's the new eco-friendly stuff. I very rarely buy CDs anymore, but I do appreciate this. Plus, it takes up a lot less space. And the inside cover, we have it just sitting there. And then we have this that comes with the Walmart exclusive. Let's see. Hold up. We got a couple of, I don't know if it's liner notes or, okay, yeah. So here are the liner notes and a big picture of the album cover here inside. And it's a separate piece from the CD case. So you get all of the lyrics, the features, and credits. And are there lyrics on here? No lyrics, but you have all the features and credits on the back here with every song. And she does have some major features. And this is an iron-on patch, which is kind of a little fun piece here. It says Middle of Nowhere Club. You can iron on to a piece of clothing here. It's, yeah, I haven't seen one of these in decades. But yeah, it's a little fun nod to the album if you are a fan of it. And after listening to it a few times, I found myself, just sitting and listening, not doing anything else, just enjoying a musical experience of a whole album, which I think is not as appreciated. People who get singles. And now it's not even so much singles, it's, 30-second clips to put behind videos that people consume. But this album itself is a very cohesive piece. I'm getting into some musical nerd stuff, some observation stuff that I picked up on. For instance, the consistent soundscape and musical theme that is set throughout the entire album. It has a profile, if you will. And that profile starts with the drums. Very heavily gated, though real drums. Heavily gated, heavily produced, almost synthetic sounding at times, along with equally polished vocals. And you juxtapose that with, the a common theme that I notice is that the main instrumentation outside of that is a lap steel guitar and acoustic guitar. And the lap steel, and yeah, there's some electric guitar as well, but they get treated with a lot of chorus, a little bit of reverb with the lap steel, but it is very much a raw, dusty country sound with the lap steel and with the guitar work, electric guitar work, and the acoustic guitars are just ran dry. Those and the occasional banjo and fiddle here and there that I've heard, and I believe there is some accordion and maybe the track that features Willie Nelson, Uncertain Texas. I'm not playing any of it for you because every time I put music into my videos, I get restricted, so I don't know how that works. So I'm just going to talk about it. I encourage you, if you have YouTube Premium, Spotify, go check out this album. It is a great piece of art altogether, and it has a flow to it, starting off with more lighthearted stuff, quickly going into more interpersonal stuff, and musically and thematically, it just shifts you peacefully track to track to track. When you get to the end, it's like, you have a satisfaction as if you watched an entire movie. And the features on this are, we have a song called Coyote featuring Gregory Alan Isaacoff. And then another song that really stood out to me as well. It's called Everybody Wants to Be a Cowboy, and it features Billy Strings. And Horses and Divorces, featuring Miranda Lambert. I like that one because it almost sounds, you have some themes that are almost Latino mariachi sounding, Tex-Mex, if you will, sounding. And then that theme is even more pronounced in the next song, Uncertain Texas, which features the man himself, Willie Nelson. And then it gets it home with the last few tracks, Rhinestones, Mexico Money, and Hell on Me. And a few tracks that I really dug, Middle of Nowhere. It sets the tone in that sound profile. That's the album you start off with. Very slow, meditative, and it's not your basic 1-4-5 progressions with the 5-4 turnaround. There is harmonic complexity, and while there is harmonic complexity, I like what they do with the bass throughout the album. It's not overly flashy. Being a bass player myself, that's the first thing I listen to. That's my primary instrument, and the bass is just doing 1 and 5. The traditional 1-5. And really locking in with that highly produced drum sound, and that sets the backdrop for everything else, for the steel slide guitar, for the acoustic. It gives them freedom to drift and be a little bit more ethereal over the whole album. And so you have a solid rhythm section to build atmosphere and overall sound profile. Another track, of course, is Dry Spell, a very, very tongue-in-cheek, double entendre laden song, and the video is even more so. And while it is about what can be considered crass subject matter, it's not vulgar or really offensive, and it's still clever, even though a lot of it is very obvious what she's saying. And then there's another one here, Back on the Wagon. That, to me, is probably the most stereotypically country sounding song. And it's written from the perspective of somebody trying to convince their friends that their significant other, that they're doing better, that they're not doing what they clearly are doing. And it's both a head nodder, but at the same time kind of sad. And the familiarity of it. And that's another thing I like about the album. I don't know anything about Kacey Musgraves whatsoever, but from the time I first discovered her music, her lyrics seem grounded, like it's a person that lives the way I live. And the subject matter isn't just strictly, you know, Western themed or, you know, what country coded. It's just about life. The type of subject matter you would find in a great blues album, which is why I like Chris Stapleton. You know, probably the only other country album I've ever bought was that first album he put out. Love his stuff. But this is less bluesy and it has elements of pop. With some of her phrasing and, like I said, the highly produced drums and vocals, but at the same time keeping that dusty country feel with the slide guitar and with the acoustic, and you know, giving you a variety of sounds and feeling, but maintaining that overall sound profile. I don't know what else I could tell you about it. Just that this is the first album I've listened to from any genre that I have really, really enjoyed. From track one to the very last track. I have, it take no dips for me. I can just put it on and kick back and enjoy the ride. And so that's my thoughts on it. Have you guys heard it? What do you think? Do you consider it country? I mean, it has a lot of pop elements. Some of her vocal stylings rhythmically are clearly R&B and hip hop inspired. But I think from my outsider perspective, the steel guitars, the 1 and 5 from the bass, the drum patterns, even though are very highly produced, are authentic to country. It's the type of stuff that if I got hired at a bar here in Wyoming, that the band, you know, that we'd have a few of these on the set list. And they would definitely get a few of these guys in cowboy hats filling up the tip jar. So to me, it is still authentically country with elements of pop, and it's very inviting music. And, you know, another reason I support the artists is I like to support artists I know that are just high quality people. And she did something I thought was very cool. This family of immigrants from Mexico were doing things the right way. They got arrested, showing up to a hearing about their immigration status, and they did all the right things and were punished nonetheless. And there were mariachi brothers that played mariachi, and when they got released finally, she put them on tour with her. And so that's just somebody that I can support, the person, their ethics. And I feel good about going out, not only giving them listens on my YouTube subscription, but giving, you know, getting the physical CDs and even making this video. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We're going to be back tomorrow with either the belated comic book unboxing, depends on if things show up or not, because I did order late this week. It is my fault, not Midtime Comics' fault. But if we don't have the unboxing, we're going to be doing another review that I have recorded already of a great comic book you don't want to miss. So I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them comic books, buying them action figures, and go out and support Kacey Musgraves. I'll see you next time. And if you would like to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee with the QR code on screen.